Alright everybody, welcome to Silver Surfer on the NES.
Hey, funky.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It has some...
What's he doing there?
I don't know.
Developed by Software Creation and published by Arcadia System, two companies that are probably dead by now, and I have no idea what they are.
To fall off the
it's more like, look how Mr. President.
Honestly, Dwibs, I would be incredibly doubtful that the people who made this game even know anything about the Silver Surfer, but we'll get to it.
Other than that, he flies on a silver surfboard.
Basically, yeah. So, the first level... Oh, sorry, is this still... Okay. Never mind, I forgot. We're doing...
This is like the demo thing that is showing if you had let the idle screen.
Yeah, basically. I just wanted to show the leaderboard thingy. Alright, let's actually start properly this time.
So, I think the last time we seen Silver Surfer was when we actually commented on the second Fantastic Four officially released movie.
So, yeah, those... go ahead, Job, you can be Silver Surfer.
Galactus, why have you summoned
Dwibs.
me?
I have need of you, server. This universe is threatened from beyond.
Metal Gear.
The evil forces of the magic domain are almost upon us. Only by recovering the cosmic device can all be saved.
Don't you mean the ultimate nullifier?
If I refuse...
I will turn into a giant cloud. I mean, you must not. Upon this, all life depends.
Yeah. Okay. So fun
Oh
fact,
god,
folks.
Mephisto, what happened to you? Sorry,
In case you're confused about why Galactus wants to help save us, well, here's the thing. Galactus is not necessarily an outright villain. Oh, sure, yeah. His intentions seem malevolent, but that is literally why he was created, to sort of help the balance of the universe. And trust me, there are some universes that are better off being eaten by Galactus.
Like the Cancerverse.
Or the Dark Universe is seen in ROM Space Knight. But yeah, that's the thing.
Dark Nebula, yeah, go on.
Galactus is not an outright bad guy. Can he do evil things? Yes. Can he be full of himself? Absolutely. But he's not a force He is not a force directly meant for evil. He is capable of good here and there. And essentially, his existence is meant to be for the better of the universe.
Okay.
It just happens that Earth tends to be his target a little more often than is comfortable.
Okay, Pedro, how tired did your wrists get by the end of this?
I'm using... Oh, there we
Turbo.
go. I'm using a turbo... I'm using turbo, so I don't have... I can just hold the button.
Get used to that image, by the way.
Yes, those of you in the audience who are long-time AVGN's fans probably remember his review of this game. It was one of his earlier ones. Yeah, and trust me, he wasn't at all joking with what he said. This game is beyond unfair and frustrating. Mostly because Silver Surfer dies in only one hit, and that's it. And a lot of them, not just from enemy attacks, just touching anything will kill him.
Now,
in the context of this game's universe, Silver Surfer sounds like a lame super guy.
Okay.
You could just tap him on the head and he'll
That's the thing, he's supposed to be Galactus Herald, one of the most powerful beings in the fucking universe.
What happened? Were all his other heralds busy on an engagement or something? Oh crap, all my heralds are busy. I have only got the Silver Surfer left.
Oh yeah.
And yes, I know he falls off if I so much as blow on him. But
Yeah, let's go.
I got nothing else to do.
I just praised this game for having at least a good in-character opening, but yeah, gameplay-wise, this makes no sense. The Silver Surfer is supposed to be a guy who can tank a lot of damage, not just die in one hit. Jesus Christ.
And not just that, it's not even from enemy, just by touching a surface, like in Tail Sky Patrol, he dies.
So you turned invulnerability on.
Libs, that's the only way I can... That's the only way I can make this game somewhat playable.
Well, I think that's the only way anyone can beat this game.
See, the thing about... Lord Cat managed to beat this legit in his Until We Win show.
Okay, let's be honest, Libs. Back in the day, us folks had to, get used to stuff like this. So, yeah, there are people who can beat this legit. don't get me wrong, it's an incredibly tough and arduous task, but it is possible.
It's doable. It requires a lot of time and patience.
The problem is that most of it, there's a lot of stuff about the game that makes it flat out more frustrating than it even needs to be, even on those terms. Not so much in this level. This level is relatively easy by Silver Surfer standards.
So basically, on par with Super Mario 2: The Lost Levels.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the.
Actually, one thing that does actually make me laugh are incredibly hilariously lame superheroes. like the ones that are defeated really easily. I don't know, for some reason I always found that kind of.
Yeah, Pedro's gone up with that. But anyway, Pedro.
Okay, so Silver Surfer, as you can see, is basically a side-scrolling shooter. Okay, so like I said, you die only one hit, so don't fuck up. There's actually one particular thing you have to mind if you're trying to play this game legit, like Lord Cat said, don't die. Why? Because every time you die, you lose your power-ups. Why is this important? Look at that, see? It's thanks to the power-ups that in the overhead levels you can shoot diagonally. And there's going to be certain levels like these where where if you don't have the orbs, you'll just die and the levels become impossible. Literally impossible.
You can't even fly over those wooden planks.
This is also,
I was about to say, behold, a Silver Surfer who, for some reason, can get stopped by wooden planks and doesn't just fly over.
This is why I was saying that you need the invulnerability to make this.
Those ones don't knock you off.
Yeah, because that's what every gamer loves: inconsistent gameplay.
This is why you have to use a Game Genie cheat to make this game remotely playable, because there's going to be a lot of moments in this game where if you don't have full power, you're just going to die regardless of what you do. Like there's going to be points where the game, like literally, like there's going to be moments in this game that are literally impossible without both orbs and full power. There's also going to be cheap traps that you have to know in advance how to avoid, and will basically kill every beginner who doesn't know. So, no, trust me, it's not even, it goes beyond just being, patience and shit. No, the game is flat out cheap and badly designed.
Yes, this game does indeed feel like a game that was made during a time where widespread media about games and many reviewers pointing out its absolute BS weren't exactly as available as they are nowadays.
So I have a question. Why is Silver Surfer finding all these random enemies that I cannot even identify? Yeah, remember that point in the comics where Silver Surfer fought a giant turtle with horns?
Okay. To be fair, that may have actually happened.
They are the forces of Reptile. The problem with Reptile is very obscure, even for Marvel standards. It appeared in like a couple of issues, but that's it. Again, the selection they gave for villains for these game is a bit weird. It was definitely a product of late 80s, beginning 90s, where Marvel was going through a shift in storytelling, and Silver Surfer actually had a solo series, actually a couple of them at that point. So he actually has a sort of set of recurring villains that he fights. But even so, like choosing. It probably was more popular. These characters were more popular when this game came out, so it made more sense to include them like this. It's just that, it's simply a problem. Silver Surfer, I don't want to see your crotch, please.
Gradually, the bias piece has been surrendered.
But yeah, one thing that I can say also, it's literally Ultimate Nullifier. One thing I can say is the fact that, unlike an LJN game, this one actually seems to be more stable, doesn't have like particular glitches or anything. It's just really, really balls to the wall hard.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So now we go up against the Fire Lord.
Yes, each level has 3 sections, as you just saw. So, yeah, there you go. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. If you don't have both orbs in this level, you're gonna hate life. It's that simple, because it's the only way to shoot diagonally. And if you only, so basically, I'm not even kidding. It's literally like Lord Cat said. If you die in this level, you might as well just reset the game and beat Reptile again, because trying to do this section with only one straight line of fire. Like, I'm not saying it's flat out impossible, but it again, you might as well just beat Reptile again because it's that difficult. Like, this is one of the
Also, the Great Silver Surfer. He has a better time flying over lava than he does.
I don't know who the hell this game was made for, but it definitely was not the average human being. Because very few human beings actually have the patience to go through the crap that this game asks you to go through.
I'd say it was made for Melee players, but this was before Melee was invented.
So anyway, this game was developed by a British developer known as Software Creations, later Acclaim Studios Manchester.
Ooh. It was noticeable thing. Sorry, go on.
They started off earlier on developing games such as Bionic Commando, Ghouls and Ghosts.
We did work for Capcom for a while.
The NES version of Terminator 2, Blaster Master 2 for the Mega Drive, among many others. Their last game was in 2003, and it was a 2-4 actually. Gladiator, Sword of Vengeance, and All-Star Baseball 2000.
Ugh, and it was terrible.
Another big problem with this game is the overall things you have to dodge, because a lot of times in this game there's little to no pattern whatsoever that you can decipher, especially considering how you're always on the move, so it's not like you have that much time to decipher any kind of patterns at all. So basically, a lot of times in this game you have to just rely. There's no actual proper pattern to memorize. You just have to rely on your own twitch reflexes. Like, and it's just, and again, remember, just like remember, you don't touch the ceiling or the walls, otherwise you'll die. And it creates this claustrophobic mess of a gameplay experience. Like, seriously, who the hell thought it was a good idea to take the Silver Surfer and turn it into the most unforgiving space shooter ever? Like, seriously.
I mean, for the genre, I can see that. It's just a matter of not making it this balls to the wall hard. I mean,
see, look at that.
Like, I mean,
what is even the pattern of that thing there? Then, like, seriously, is there even a pattern to that thing?
Namco and Konami were managing to do things properly with stuff like Xevious, Galaga, Gradius, and even Parodius for how bizarre that is. So there is a way to make a space shooter, challenging yet doable. You know.
Okay. Let me start with the problems. Problem one: making him a one-hit kill wonder.
Yeah.
Like, that is just okay. That was a big problem with loads of games back then. It works with some. Silver Surfer was not one of them. Like, say, okay, if you want to do a one-hit kill game, more often than not, what you need to do is give it so that there's something of a thing to alleviate that one-hit kill nature. Like with Mario, he gets a bigger mushroom so he can gain a hit. With Sonic, as long as you got rings, you're fine. Silver Surfer, not so much. And again, it doesn't fit with the character of the comic because he is able to tank a lot. Hell, sometimes even nuclear explosions.
Do you guys remember that part in the Silver Surfer comics where he fired his weapon every single second of the day?
And not just that, but he like fastly throw with his arm, even though he doesn't really do that. He more like shoots a beam.
If I did that all day, I'd be knackered within a minute.
Tail?
Yes, sir?
Was there ever any point in the comics where Phylor threw pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns at Silver Surfer?
I don't have much experience with these characters, so I don't know. It might be possible. He comes from the Andromeda Galaxy, so it's not even a native of the Milky Way. And he had a bit of an experience against Thor, Galactus, and Hercules. So it's more of a god enemies rather than Gundams.
You know, from this perspective, it looks like he's hitting his stomach every time he fires.
I wouldn't be too surprised if the pumpkins are just enemies from the Mephisto level that are,
and look at that, by the way,
risky repurposed.
Yeah, this is another thing. Again, like Lord Cat said, for as difficult as the levels are, the bosses are pathetically easy. Most of the time, you just have to sit back.
The game wants to throw a bone. Oh my god.
Return of the ambulance sound. Well, okay. To be fair, that one was more like a police cruiser, but yeah. Return of the siren noise.
Alright, so now Possessor.
Now, this is actually a treat because this is something that is super, 70s, 80s, and 90s kinda. This guy is actually part of a group called the Elders of the Universe. A bunch of last survivors of an extinct race that in turn are a bunch of pompous dicks that wreak havoc in the galaxy. So don't bother. Go to 16.
Alright.
Also, one thing I will say...
Yeah, I was about to mention, one of the few things that are actually really cool about this game is the score, done by two people, Team Falling and Geo Falling. Are they brothers?
So, yeah.
16-10.
Anyway, 0-3...
16.
Actually, it's 16-10. Okay. But yeah, well, actually...
Okay, now here we go. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so the basic gist of it is, okay, most of the time, Silver Surfer is just killing random heads in weird shapes that I don't know what the hell. Like seriously, what happened here?
It's so NES in terms of enemy selection.
And he's on his way to fight Bret Hart for some reason.
Did they send Silver Surfer to the remote place of the universe where everything that never existed got thrown away? Like,
to be honest, considering Jack Kirby's creativity in design, this wouldn't surprise me too much if it was an actual set of enemies from one of the comics. When it came to draw alien and stuff from space, Jack Kirby absolutely went nuts.
Yeah, I mean, okay, to this game's credit, I would not be really that surprised if a lot of this did actually happen in comic books.
Maybe this is one of those cases where
the
the makers actually were fans of the comics to say, "Oh, cool."
Okay, look at the bright side.
We just forgot to, make Silver Surfer a bit more sturdy.
Yeah.
Or sturdy at all.
Okay. But yeah, I'll give this game credit, at least unlike the Hulk game with that weird as all heck inside body level. At least these actually do come from the comic.
As a fresh reminder, I'm still searching and I still have no idea what that was supposed to be, but I'm not really giving up.
Regarding Silver Surfer, TL, I have to wonder if that Marvel comic was right. Maybe Aunt May really was a better Herald of Galactus.
Alright, this level...
happened. Aunt May was actually a Herald of Galactus at some point.
Alright, this section is bullshit. This section is bullshit because in order to beat more than usual too, because in order to beat this section, you cannot just stay here in the center and just progress with the level normally as you would in the previous levels. Instead, you have to make sure that you move forward constantly and accelerate. Why? Because later there's going to be a gate that has a time limit and eventually closes down. If you don't get past that gate before it closes down, the game just kills you. It's that simple. Because that's not unfair at all, is it? Like I said, the game just literally breaks the rules like that. Up until this point, we were able to get through the levels at our own pace, considering within the circumstances, of course. But now all of a sudden, there's this gate that you have to know. Oh, and by the way, another thing, when it comes to these overhead levels, what's an obstacle and what is not an obstacle that kills you? I don't know. Like, seriously, I'm not even kidding. There are certain things you can...
It depends on what the designers decided.
It's trial and error at its worst.
Basically.
Again, you're the Silver Surfer, you should be able to fly over these things.
But did you see, Jova, before Silver Surfer left, Galactus removed the
yeah, just get here. Notice those little bits of them.
I got it.
There you go.
Before Silver Surfer left for his mission, Galactus removed his ability for him to go vertically.
Sure.
Why did he do that? Because he was a dick.
So it's like the speed down shoes in Labyrinth.
Although here's the thing, he can go vertically in these sections, so your theory...
He's very selective, Joba.
Okay, it's because did you notice the gate closing right before I finish that section?
Yeah.
Again, make sure you move forward to make sure to not get caught, because if you allow the level to progress normally, the gate will close on you and you'll die, because if you touch that gate you'll die. So yeah, that's the again, just see, all you have to do to defeat this boss is just stay here and keep, as long as you have both orbs, you'll be fine. There you go. You see what I mean? Like the level.
And we defeated Bret Hart.
What kind of a difficulty curve is this? The levels are the most frustrating thing you designed by humans, and the bosses are so insultingly easy.
Oh my god.
Do sirens, like, give you an aversion to you?
Again, I'm a bit sensitive to intense
Oh look,
humor.
it's Mephisto.
Oh, Mephisto! Yeah, believe it or not, one of the more baffling things that they decided to do with Silver Surfer, clearly a cosmic entity more devoted to science and science fiction, was to make him a rival to Mephisto, the closest that Marvel has to a Satan stand-in.
That's the thing. Mephisto kind of does sometimes get into space.
Yeah, he was bootlicking Galactus.
So
he was bootlicking Thanos in the original Infinity
So,
Gauntlet story.
Yeah.
So I got a minute. You're against Satan, and so basically you're Galactus, and one of your enemies is Satan, and you send your lamest lackey to face him.
Well, that's the thing. Silver Surfer is normally his best, but again, maybe Aunt May was his best.
I'm more concerned.
I'm thinking Terrakion. I forgot what's his name. The Earth Herald is actually probably the strongest.
I'm more questioning why the hell are we fighting Halloween ghosts?
Because Mephisto is kind of a idiot loser.
Yeah,
Not even kidding.
Commentary, I guess.
Not even kidding. When we showed Daredevil that I grew up with, where Daredevil and a couple of other characters get sent into hell and they have to actually get out, as Mephisto, in the shape of a giant fat porcupine Jabba the Hutt thing, and it literally ends with Daredevil not even be able to confront him. He will just talk a bit, then Silver Surfer shows out of nowhere, and Daredevil actually escapes like that. It's so stupid.
Yeah, Mephisto's one of those jack-of-all-trades kind of characters. One minute he can be incredibly Machiavellian and smart, but in other cases he can be stupid. And this isn't a point of inconsistent writing, no, this has to do with the character himself. He's, well, let's put it like this. He's the kind of guy who to a normal human would seem powerful, but to more powerful beings, he comes off as more bootlicker. Seriously, one of Thanos' best moments was telling Mephisto to shove it after he was trying to brown nose him.
Yep.
That's right. Thanos
look!
told off Satan.
And there you go. The boss is a ghost, and he's a joke. There you go.
This soundtrack is very hype.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's the best part of the game.
Definitely. Congratulations!
Apparently,
you have defeated
apparently
Mephisto.
this guy, Tim Follin at least, is has actually a pretty extensive resume. He has done for stuff like, let's see, his most recent work was in 2015 for a mobile, admittedly, game, Contradiction Spot the Liar. But he has worked for stuff like Bionic Commando, of course. So he was the one who composed the original Bionic Commando theme. That makes sense. I can clearly feel the vibes of that.
Yeah.
Ghouls and Ghosts, the other game that the team worked on. The Genesis, Mega Drive, and Super Nintendo version of Batman Forever.
Nice.
And apparently Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future on the Dreamcast.
Keen.
How was the soundtrack of that game?
That was good. Again, it was probably one of the best things of that game.
I talk about the soundtracks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think we were talking about? The games themselves?
Yeah, I was mostly talking about the composer since Sherry brought it up. But on to some other trivia. That group of people that I mentioned before, the Elders of the Universe, that the Possessor, that we thought before actually was part of, include the characters we have seen in the MCU, including the Collector, the Grandmaster, and Ego the Living Planet. Yes, specifically, if you don't know, the actual comic book version of Ego doesn't usually have a human avatar. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 movie basically simplified things a bit, but in the comic, Ego is a literal planet with a face on it.
Yeah.
Because this is when actually, never mind. Yeah, because this is what I want in the game where you die with one hit, even if you touch the walls. Enemies that split into two every time I kill them.
Oh, absolutely. And Mephisto faces you with just a face on the wall.
And you just shoot him a bit in the jaw and he's dead. Again, what is up with these bosses?
Congratulations, you have defeated Mephisto to the joy of many Spider-Man fans.
Or many. Honestly, Mephisto has a reputation of not being liked by literally anyone.
Alright, and now we're gonna
face... Doom is a beef against it.
And now we're gonna face Thanos!
Dragon.
The Emperor.
Basically, this is Kylor, a Skrull character. Non-bother, even his run in the comic was very little. I don't even know why they picked him for the Skrull, for being a Skrull character. Just be closer.
This is around that era where Marvel was sort of flirting with the idea of making the Skrulls secretly good guys all along.
No, that happened a bit before. This guy basically one time self-proclaimed emperor just because he was strong, but then was defeated and never showed up again. That's it. Again, I get the idea of getting a Skrull character, but why a very minor one like this?
Maybe this game was made when he was in the vogue.
Potentially, again, this game probably was made when these characters were much more popular.
You can't even fly diagonally.
No.
It's always straight ahead.
Like I said, Dwibs, if you die, it boils down to this, Dwibs. If you die in this game, you lose your power-ups, and if you lose your power-ups, these later to kind of become basically impossible. So the only way you're going to be able to make this game legit is if you manage to go through it without dying. You cannot die a single time. Go ahead.
So not only is Silver Surfer incredibly weak, he apparently doesn't even know how to fly his own surfboard so that he can fly diagonally.
Again, maybe really is the better surfer, or maybe what's that guy's name?
That'd be like if Tony Stark could take off in his suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Tia mentioned, the whole Herald of Galactus thing is kind of like who becomes Captain Universe at the time. It can sometimes become an actual character other than Silver Surfer here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
It doesn't also help
that... guys, notice that background?
Mm-hmm.
And now, think the fact that the bullets are brown.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
I do not have my
I can see how this would be a problem.
Nah. By all means, do as pray tell. I can't possibly, for the life of me, tell what the problem is.
Well, Bob, it's simple. You can't see stuff coming towards you because you're so focused. Because I mean, it blending in with the background is bad enough. Because you're focused on shooting and avoiding stuff, you can barely be able to see it until it's too late.
I love how this game made it so that if I touch the ceiling or floors, I die, and yet there's a lot of sections in these side-scrolling levels where I'm forced to go through a very tight hallway. It's like this game is purposely designed to frustrate you.
Suffering seems to be a theme here.
Everyone and everything.
It is best represented by the game over.
Galactus.
It is best represented by the game over screen, where Silver Surfer face palms on top of his board.
I mean, yeah, Galactus is a pretty. Galactus, you know, for picking lame heralds, Galactus is just as lame himself. Seriously, this is the best guy for the job. A man who falls off if you so much as like wave your hand in front of him, who can't control his. And who can't even control his main mode of transportation properly.
Well, consider this, Dribs, in the context of the game, you did technically succeed.
Yeah, but it takes him a while to do it.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Even Galactus.
Yeah, but Rome didn't topple over if you so much as tap the building.
All right, the Emperor boss battle. You just fly straight to the boss. By the way, Section 3 is literally just the boss itself. Here's what you do. just shoot all of his cannons. There you go. And just be careful to not get hit, because you die in one hit, remember? There you go. And now you just have to... There you go.
Come on.
And
Just a few hits.
and you're done. Like, you didn't even fight...
Huzzah.
You don't even touch him.
You don't even fight Emperor, you just destroy his cannons.
Don't you see? That was the
It
point.
also didn't help that for some reason Kyler in that picture looked like a lot like Savage Dragon.
Alright, cutscene.
which is what he was calling
Go ahead, Liz.
You have done well, Surfer. Now only one piece of the device is missing. This you will find at the far end of the magic domain.
Alright
Yay.
then. Go ahead, Jova.
What is inside the magic domain?
Your dignity. You will find out very soon. Hurry! You have very little time, and stop falling off that damn surfboard of yours. I thought you knew how to control that thing.
Whoop!
Alright, so the magic domain.
But the final boss is
Doctor
Mr.
Strange.
No, it's Mr. Sinister, Dweebs, of all people. A character that has no real association with the cosmic stuff and is more of an X-Men villain. I have no idea what the fuck is he doing here.
This is what I'm saying, Jova.
That's what he's doing.
I get the feeling, well, normally I would say they went on Marvel Wiki and searched for random villains, but there was no Wiki at the time. They did what was the equivalent of Wiki at the time, and they just used random villains, basically.
Well, that's the weird thing, though. It's like, I mean, okay, the other villains, I totally get going up against Silver Surfer, but Mr. Sinister, this is like the first time where something seems definitely out of character. I mean, unless there was a time when Mr. Sinister went against Silver Surfer.
It might have, but honestly, I honestly remember Mr. Sinister being more strictly associated with the mutants.
Let me check.
But yeah, Dweebs, you were wondering throughout the entire 20th Century Mutants franchise what Mr. Sinister might have looked like? There you go.
Why is Mr. Sinister fighting us with green top hats?
Because you want to have fun, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for the record, Mr. Sinister is one of the more serious quote-unquote villains that the mutants have to face, or the X-Men have to face regularly, so I have no idea where this joke personality might come from.
Well,
That said,
alright, oh god, look at this. Like, seriously,
minute.
things just come at you out of nowhere with no discernible
super
pattern.
fast.
No discernible pattern.
talk about Sinister.
Ha.
Alright, that's the thing too. At the end of this game, we don't even fight Mr. Sinister himself. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about this game. It's just his portrait that's used, but the final boss is... Well, I'll just let you wait and see.
And after all, there you go. Now we just defeated that final thing. Yeah, you think with a level that's challenging that it had the decency of giving you a challenging boss, but I guess not.
Oh,
Goody.
It just feels so jarring to be able to finally beat a level that is so ball-bustingly hard, and then to just have a boss that is so pathetic just feels like an insult. It feels like the developers being condescending to me. Like, okay, so you managed to get through the level. Here's a pathetic boss to make you feel better about yourself. Like, why are we flying through whatever the hell this is?
This is the magic domain, Pedro. It's supposed to be abstract and make no sense.
yeah, this
I
actually
guess.
is in,
Yeah, sure.
this actually is in character for the place. The Magic Dimension is a crazy topsy-turvy place in the Marvel Universe.
The idea behind it is simple, it's abstractism, therefore the laws of physics, and reality means nothing. Marvel actually has a couple of dimensions like this, not just one of them. It even has a bunch of identities, quote-unquote entities, quote-unquote, which are these giant beings that rule over the entirety of creation, like Oblivion, that actually rule these kind of places. So again, it makes me wonder what the fuck Mr. Sinister is doing here.
Let me see.
probably laughing at it. Yeah, if it weren't for the invulnerability cheat, you'd probably be laughing at how pathetic this guy is. Yeah, seriously, this is the herald that Galactus is sending to face me.
Oh my god.
He can't even stay on his own board.
Seriously, that smile looks like one of those things that you know, Photoshop in with Face App.
I actually wonder if this portrait was just photoshopped in, considering what the final boss actually is.
Possible.
And now we're fighting a space lobster.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Is this
The horror.
So there you go, Des. You thought it was only Captain Kirk that fought space lobsters? Think again.
Why are there space lobsters?
Because
Why not, Shiro?
because shut up. That's why. All right. Final section.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even for the standards of the game that the studio I developed at the time, this is even uncharacteristically hard. Sure, Ghosts and Ghosts is still, you know, it still upholds the legacy of its franchise by being harder than the average game, but it still has a degree of, you know, beatability. It still does the stupid bullshit about get the item before the final level, otherwise you have to go back. But at least it's much more, you know, at least R4 actually has 2 hit points rather than this. But and Bionic Commando is actually much easier as applied as one of the traditional Capcom platformers. So I really have no idea where does this come from.
Literally, at least with Arbor you can gain more hits as well.
Oh, and now we have a dead elephant that shoots things out of its trunk. This is so charming.
Of course.
This was before the SRB, right?
Oh yes, remember it was because of Mortal Kombat and Night Trap that thing came to be. So,
True,
yeah.
I just don't remember the exact time date.
Boy, imagine a world where those games never happened and we never got the ESR.
Someone else would have been the trigger of them, It was
and there goes someone. Meet the final boss of Silver Surfer, a big purple ape with a gun.
Yeah, that's the thing. The final boss is not actually Mr. Sinister, which makes me wonder if they literally just got the guy's portrait, smacked it in, and bada boom.
Of
Bada bing, bada boom.
Of course. Again, did you guys actually read the comics? There were like a bajillion different characters and villains you could have drawn from.
It's weird because this is literally the first time where it feels like they didn't read the comics. Everything else, except for Silver Surfer's lack of, you know, defense, seems to be in character for the comics.
My god, this guy is also very spongy.
And there you go. Finally. Alright, final cutscene. After the congratulations.
Yay.
Thingy.
Look at his navel.
Look at my impressive pecs.
Alright, and there you go, the device is finally complete. So what are we going to do with it exactly?
Nothing.
Well, let's see.
With more funky music.
Your quest is at an end, Surfer. The forces of magic have been defeated. Now the device is mine!
Okay then.
No! The device is too dangerous. I will take it to a safe place. Never shall it fall into the wrong hands.
Okay then. And
that's the end.
That's the end.
That's it. He just fucks up with the device.
Yeah. But look at those wacky credits.
That game doesn't even end, it just kind of stops.
Look at this 360 effect.
Yeah, see?
Well, a lot of these
we can
games
do
are
this
like
on
that,
NES.
Alright, so that was the end, but we're gonna still have the credits show up after this end message. If I remember correctly, it's after you press ARB. I was just letting it twirl around for a bit.
At the end of the day, I can still say...
We're gonna look at this effect for a little while.
Yes, very good.
It's impressive. They put a lot of time and effort.
It looks like one of those screensavers from Windows 3.1. So...
I prefer the flying toasters one.
Alright. Alright, so coding Kevin Edwards, level data, Kevin Edwards. Oh, well, Kevin Edwards did a lot of stuff for this game. Wait, password KCHDR4?
Why a password at the end of the game?
Is there like a special cheat you can unlock with that password? Looking it up.
Oh.
No need. I've got it covered.
Is that a password?
Or rather, he has.
This game has passwords?
Yeah, apparently.
Did I miss something? I mean, it's not like at the end of Mega Man where you get a password at the end of every stage. You only get it when you beat the game, and how do I even enter the password? I mean, there's no
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
What?
At Red Dead, it just opens too many
Yeah,
questions.
you have to use both controllers to get to the screen. You press up on both of them.
What?
Yeah, you need both. You need two controllers to use the password screen, because that's not horse shit or
I
whatever.
knew that.
So intuitive.
So question.
Wait, you
so
knew
what
that?
does the password do then?
Are you familiar with this game, Sure?
It's
Ah,
sarcasm.
okay. Basically, Jova, here's what it does, Jova. Well, actually, Jova, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what the password does. I'm just gonna let you see for yourself, because I think Jason's reaction is perfectly suited, and he will say it. So I'll just let you. Okay, so all right, let's see exactly. So the password is you have to press up on both controllers. So yeah, if you were one of those kids who grew up with only one controller and this game, you're shit out of luck, kid. Sorry, no passwords for you.
Thank
Well,
God.
you're not involved. Let me just say this: you're really not missing much.
Okay, let's
Does
see.
the password just take
Well,
you
that's
to
the
the
thing,
ending or something?
There's only
If
one,
only.
And even then,
one password.
that's the thing, Jova. There's no passwords after each stage, like he said. There's only passwords after you finish the game. So let's see exactly what this password
Pretty
does.
much.
So what does this?
Wait.
Must be something really cool, right?
There you go. You hear a little
Are
change.
there multiple passwords?
There are. You'll see. So what does this password do exactly?
So what does the password do?
Yeah.
Oh, hard mode.
Oh, hard mode!
In
Because the
this
game
thing?
wasn't hard
Hard
enough.
mode.
Exactly, dude.
A harder difficulty.
Yes, that is what that means.
Are the developers out of their minds?
Well, can you blame him right now, actually?
No, I don't.
Why does this game need to be harder? I mean, what's 6 psychotic?
How do you make it harder?
Yeah, you know what? Dying all the time's all right, but I wish the game killed me more. God.
So yeah, let's start over and beat the game on a hard mode.
Oh, good luck with that.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Oh,
So here's the problem. I don't really get what the hard mode does, really, because from what I can tell, from what I...
It adds actual more. Actually, it adds more enemies. Like for example, right now, in places where they shouldn't be, they are more frequent and more aggressive.
I guess it's just like
Because the enemy placement wasn't hard enough.
I guess it's that's the thing. That's the thing too. This game already has a shit ton of enemies anyway. It gets to a
Well,
point.
here you have some more.
That's the thing too. You're already dying all the time anyway. So from what I can tell, this doesn't really make that much difference, to be honest with you. It's just like if you've managed to get good at the base quest, you're probably already good enough to do this as well. It's only a little step up from what I can tell, from what little I've played of it. Really, it doesn't seem...
so this game's real. So this gives those gamers a real challenge.
But yeah, like Jason said, apparently someone in the development team thought, you know what this game needs? A hard mode. You know, because this game is not hard enough. You know, like, I gotta give the hardcore gamers a challenge, you know? Like, what the fucking hell? Like, seriously, this game doesn't need a hard mode. It doesn't. Ugh.
And then there's apparently multiple passwords, like you mentioned.
Yes,
Yeah, but unless a why not an easy mode? Something unless this is what they can.
that's the thing, Dwebs. The passwords can also be used for cheat codes.
They're easy.
That's the thing,
The
Dwebs.
easy mode is to
previous
just not
one.
play.
That's the thing, Dwebs.
Yeah, look at that. For example, there are much more pumpkins on screen for this particular section.
that's the thing, Dibs. The passwords can also be used for cheats. There's a password that triggers invincibility. So, at the very least, the developers realized that they created an impossible fucking game, so they gave you a cheat code so you can get through it at least. Too bad people who don't have, magazines won't be able to tell, because the game never gives you any kind of hint that there's a password fucking system in the game.
Or if you're the, unless you're the angry video game, I can't remember when he flat out used an invincibility code to get through a game.
Alright,
E.
sorry, I'm trying to speed things up. We're not gonna make it, Teo, so we have to speed up.
You could have used another music in the meantime.
Yeah, seriously, it looks like you're squelching something on the ground.
Yeah, basically, guys, what I did is I beat the game again in hard mode. However, what you're seeing is basically a highlight reel of the hard mode, because I'm not gonna show everything, of course, because like Teo said, it's only more enemies. The levels themselves don't change. So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Beat it.
Oh, what a
there's
new
another password.
Another one.
Yeah! Beat it on a hard mode. What now? What?
Super hard mode.
What does it
What the
do?
hell does this one do?
Second quest.
Second quest.
What does that even mean?
Is it like another story mode?
Okay, let's
Just
because this game refuses to fucking end. Let's continue.
You want to play again?
Alright, so what's the second
Shall
quest?
we play a game?
Basically, Jova,
No.
it's again the same shit. Same levels, just more enemies and harder patterns. Or if you can call them patterns, at least.
basically-
And there you go. The game. There you go. I did the password well. I beat the game again with that new thing, and it still gave me the same password. This is all my footage right now. That's it. I'm not. There's no more clips from Jason. See, I'm not kidding you. Off screen, I beat the fucking second quest or whatever it's called, and it just gave me the same password again. So what? So this game keeps looping consistently? Apparently.
Getting harder and harder,
Okay.
better, faster, stronger.
Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I did some research and I didn't see anything. I didn't see any passwords for anything else. And I didn't see anything about what happens if you beat the second quest, because, again, when I did it, I just got the same password again. So basically, here's my theory. The developers probably got to a point in development where they turned to each other and they went, you know what, this is fucking impossible. No one is ever gonna be able to, or even bother to complete the second quest. So let's not even bother delivering a proper conclusion to this loop. Like, that's my guess. The developers realize that they've created a game that nobody will ever beat 3 times, because
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't remember actually anything about Second Quest, so yeah, it's probably what Pedro said.
It's probably just an artificial game lengthener.
So
Well, no.
While face palming on the surfer
Dibs.
tablet, final thoughts.
Dibs, go ahead and read Chihiro's final thoughts before. Why not?
Okay, basically, Shiori said, and I quote, "The soundtrack is pretty great and the game looks nice. The difficulty is BS, and this game definitely doesn't need a hard mode." And that's what she said.
All right.
As for me, I'm pretty much in agreement with that. But also, I mean, seriously, this rendition of this character is the lamest superhero I've ever seen. Super whatever. He dies in like one hit. He can't even. He falls off his surfboard if I so much as tap him on the forehead. He can't even control his own surfboard properly. I mean, seriously, Galactus? This was the best herald you could choose. You'd have better look getting a 5-year-old going through all this stuff. At least he wouldn't fall off his skateboard. Like, I mean, it's hilarious as to how ineptitude this idiot is. Both Galactus and the Silver Surfer. And I wonder most of the time you see him crying on his surfboard like a baby. That just sums up this whole thing. It's. I mean, out of context, it's ridiculously hard, and in context, it has the lamest it has the lamest protagonist ever. And that's about it, really. That's all I gotta say. Next.
Jova.
Oh boy, what a train wreck of a game. Like I said, it definitely feels like a game made back when standards weren't held as high, and widespread attention about a game sucking so much couldn't be as easily spread, unfortunately. Like, I mean, it's weird because when it comes to the details, except for literally transplanting Mr. Sinister and, mind you, only in for portraits into this, it does feel like they actually did study up on the lore of Silver Surfer here and there. But then you have the Mr. Sinister thing and you thought, what were they thinking? Because no, there's not really any degree of Mr. Sinister apparently fighting the Silver Surfer before, and TV Tropes literally mentions him as a transplant, so yeah, there you go. That said, lore is not enough to save this game, because the gameplay is terrible. Seriously, whose dumb idea was it to make Silver Surfer a one-hit kill wonder? Like, that is rarely ever a good idea. Like, again, give him something to protect himself from it, at the very least. Jesus Christ. The music is definitely pretty great, though. It is hands down the best thing of this entire endeavor. But, man, if everything bad, then the artificial lengthener with supposedly a hard mode and then a second quest, which, yeah, from all the research I've done, doesn't really give you anything else, it's not a good game.
And it refuses to end the loop because it's on a constant loop of a second quest that never ends, it seems. Like,
don't you see, Pedro? That's to give people the idea that it was worth the purchase price.
Here's an idea. Why not have a start menu with the word start, the word options, and the word password? Or was that too hard for you to comprehend, Kevin Edwards?
Okay, I guess to give them credit, they found a way to immortalize this game by making it one of the most baffling games in all existence, so congratulations, I guess.
Well, yeah, the biggest exposure this game got is because of the AVGN review, really.
Like I said, this game is kind of immortalized thanks to its BS-ness.
Alright.
Next.
2.
This is just... it's stressing. Like, I can see a good game buried deep beneath, but sadly, the really excessive difficulty, even for the standard, is just so punishing that it can remove any enjoyment. It's not that kind of difficulty that makes you go, okay, just one more try, let me see if I can manage to get good at this level. No, it's the kind of one that laughs at your face, and it's not even funny. It's not a funny joke. It's the one that's more awkward. The soundtrack is the only real savageable thing about this because it's so really funky, but it really doesn't fit with the developers' previous works. Again, I have to stress that for how also balls to the wall it is. Ghouls and Ghosts is one of those games that instead gives you the whole let me try one more time challenge. This one, not so much. The choice of characters, again, is probably reflective of the time this was made. So even stuff that 30 years later, god damn it, feels more obscure. For us, might have been much more popular back then. So I'm not gonna, harp too much on the game for it. No, this is just something that you really try for 5 minutes out of curiosity and then drop it because it's not really worth your time. There are better Marvel games, even on the system, that you could play. So choose those instead. Next.
Pedro.
Okay.
Cap us off.
Yes. Clearly someone on the development team thought, you know what this game needs? A hard mode. Clearly. I mean, gotta give that extra challenge for those who seek it, I guess. And again, I really have to question the logic of this never-ending loop that the game creates, where first it shows you a password for hard mode, then it shows you a password for a even further difficulty, and then it keeps showing you that password consistently Okay. For the record, for this, what I did for this recording process was I played the game normally, then I got the password for hard mode, then I beat that hard mode, then I got the next password after that, and I beat the game again with that password, and then it showed me that password again, and that's the final screen you saw here in this part. After that, I just kind of gave up. I'm not gonna start this game again with the same password. At this point, it's just getting ridiculous. Just end, you stupid game.
I wonder if this is one of those games that people have been analyzing and studying for years on end to see if there's really a true secret, or maybe it's a glitch throughout all the copies that keeps them from getting the real rewards of finishing second quest or whatnot.
I'm gonna stick with my theory that the developers really thought this is fucking impossible. Nobody's ever gonna bother with this crap, so let's not even bother. That's probably what happened. The same thing of why there's no proper ending in Bloodwings Pumpkinhead's Revenge, because the developers realized that they created a game that nobody would ever beat. So
I guess it's still overall a better experience potentially than, say, something like the X-Men LJN game, because at least this one seems to be coded properly. But if the trade-off is the overall difficulty, I'm not sure if if you still want that experience. So.
okay, so as for the rest, the graphics look nice. The music is fine. I'm personally, it's fine, I guess. I don't particularly, it didn't really stick in my head when I played it, but whatever.
To be fair, I think the thing that sticks in your head when playing a game like this is, dear God, why?
True. That is true. So yeah, trust me, it's not even worth a curiosity. Trust me, it's not. This game is not worth your time. It's a complete waste of your time. Don't bother. Tune in next time for whatever random game I come up with.
Maybe the X-Men LG.
Maybe, who knows? But I'll do the same thing and get invincibility because that game is flat out glitchy as fuck. And so
yeah, I wonder if cheats allow you to go through glitches. But who knows? See you for whatever's next, folks.
See ya.
See you then.